What if every citizen, regardless of their employment status, received a regular, livable sum of money from the government? This is the question at the heart of the universal basic income debate. Let's break things down a bit. The idea of universal basic income, or UBI as it's commonly abbreviated, is a fairly straightforward one. It's a model for providing all citizens of a country with a given sum of money, regardless of their income, resources, or employment status. And when we say all citizens, we mean just that. Everyone gets the same amount, no strings attached. The concept of UBI isn't new. It has been around for centuries, with thinkers and philosophers debating its merits. However, in recent years, it's been gaining momentum as a potential solution to a variety of societal and economic issues. So what's the primary goal of UBI? In its purest form, it's about alleviating poverty and providing financial security. It's about making sure that everyone, no matter their circumstances, has enough to cover basic needs like food, shelter, and healthcare. It's about providing a safety net that allows people to take risks, to change jobs, to innovate, and to take care of themselves and their families without the constant fear of financial ruin. But UBI isn't just about survival. It's also about dignity. It's about recognizing that everyone has the right to a certain standard of living, and that we as a society have the ability and arguably the responsibility to ensure that right is met. It's a bold idea, with potential implications that reach into every aspect of society, from the economy to social justice, from personal freedom to the very nature of work itself. As such, it's a topic that elicits strong opinions, with advocates and critics alike bringing compelling arguments to the table. Now that we understand what universal basic income is, let's delve into the arguments for and against its implementation. Why should we consider universal basic income? The proponents of UBI present an array of compelling arguments. Let's start with poverty alleviation, a key point of concern for many societies. UBI, by its very nature, provides a safety net for the most vulnerable among us. It offers a guaranteed income that can help lift individuals and families out of poverty, making it a powerful tool for addressing income inequality. It assures that everyone has access to a basic level of income, irrespective of their employment status, thus reducing the fear of financial insecurity. Next, we have job displacement due to automation. We're living in an era where technological advancements are rapidly automating jobs that were once performed by humans. While this is great for productivity, it's not so good for the workers being replaced. UBI could serve as a buffer, providing displaced workers with a steady income as they transition to new careers or pursue further education. Then there's the argument for fostering entrepreneurship. With the financial stability provided by UBI, individuals might be more inclined to take the risk of starting their own businesses. It could spur innovation and economic growth by allowing more people the freedom to pursue their passions and ideas. Finally, let's consider the potential for simplifying existing welfare systems. Right now, welfare programs can be complex and bureaucratic, often creating a stigma for those who need assistance. UBI could replace these programs with a more streamlined, dignified approach. Everyone would receive the same basic income, eliminating the need for means testing and reducing administrative costs. In essence, the case for universal basic income hinges on its potential to alleviate poverty, counter job displacement due to automation, foster entrepreneurship, and simplify welfare systems. It's a bold idea with the potential to reshape society for the better. While these points paint a promising picture, the concept of universal basic income isn't without its critics. Not everyone is convinced that universal basic income is the solution to our socioeconomic challenges. Let's uncover why. First, let's talk about funding. Universal basic income, by its very nature, is a costly program. Providing every citizen with a regular, unconditional sum of money requires a massive amount of resources. Critics argue that the funds required for UBI could be better spent on targeted welfare programs or investing in public services like education and healthcare. Next up, the potential disincentives to work. One of the common arguments against UBI is that it could discourage people from seeking employment. If individuals are guaranteed a basic income, regardless of whether they work or not, some fear it could lead to a decrease in labor force participation. Inflation is another concern. If everyone suddenly has more money to spend, it could drive up the prices of goods and services. Proponents argue that UBI could stimulate economic growth, but skeptics worry it could result in runaway inflation, negating any benefits of the program. Finally, there's the argument that UBI doesn't address the root causes of poverty. While a basic income could alleviate immediate financial stress, it doesn't necessarily tackle underlying issues like lack of education, poor health, or systemic discrimination. Critics worry that UBI could be a band-aid solution, masking deeper societal problems without truly resolving them. However, it's crucial to remember that these arguments are part of an ongoing debate. There are counter-arguments and potential solutions for each of these concerns, and the concept of UBI continues to evolve and adapt. As we've seen, the debate around universal basic income is far from one-sided. So where does this leave us? The answer to that question is complex and multifaceted, much like the concept of universal basic income itself. As we continue to grapple with these issues, the conversation around UBI promises to be a fascinating and crucial part of our socioeconomic future. Universal basic income isn't just an economic proposal. It's also a political one, with various implications. At its core, universal basic income, or UBI, is a political proposition, deeply entwined with power dynamics, policymaking, and the ideological perspectives of different political factions. When considering the political implications of UBI, we must first delve into the power dynamics of society. A UBI establishes a baseline income for all, which could potentially shift power from corporations and employers to the individual. This is because the security of a basic income might empower people to make choices that align better with their personal needs and aspirations, rather than being driven purely by economic necessity. The potential impact of UBI on policymaking is another aspect we must scrutinize. With a UBI in place, the need for certain welfare programs might be diminished or even rendered obsolete. This could lead to a simplification of the bureaucratic process, potentially making the government more efficient. However, it's worth noting that the implementation of a UBI would require a significant restructuring of existing economic policies. Now, let's pivot to how different political ideologies view UBI. On the left, proponents often frame UBI as a tool for social equality, arguing that it could help reduce wealth disparities. On the right, supporters see UBI as a way to streamline government bureaucracy and foster individual freedom. Of course, there are critics on both sides, with concerns ranging from economic feasibility to potential disincentives for work. Regardless of these differing views, it's crucial to remember that the concept of UBI transcends traditional political divides. It's not a strictly left or right idea. It's a forward-thinking proposal that challenges us to reimagine our societal structures and consider how we might build a more equitable future. Politics aside, let's summarize the key points from this discussion. Universal basic income is a complex topic with compelling arguments on both sides. We've taken a deep dive into this intriguing concept and its potential implications from a political perspective. Let's take a moment to recap what we've learned. We started by introducing universal basic income, or UBI. This is a model in which all citizens, without any condition, receive a certain amount of money from the government. It's a radical rethinking of traditional welfare systems, and it's ignited a passionate debate in political and economic circles around the globe. We then explored the case for UBI. Proponents argue that it could help to alleviate poverty, reduce income inequality, and provide a safety net in an increasingly automated world. It's seen as a way to ensure everyone has a basic level of financial security, potentially leading to improved health, reduced stress, and increased opportunities for education and entrepreneurship. On the flip side, we delved into the criticisms of UBI. Detractors worry about the practicality of implementing such a system, the potential for creating disincentives to work, and the significant financial burden it could place on governments. There's also concern about whether UBI might inadvertently exacerbate social inequality, rather than alleviating it. From a political viewpoint, UBI presents a unique challenge. It straddles traditional party lines with support and opposition found in both conservative and liberal camps. This is partly because the concept of UBI touches on fundamental questions about the role of government, the nature of work, and our responsibilities towards each other as members of a society. In conclusion, universal basic income is a multifaceted concept with far-reaching implications. It's a topic that invites us to re-examine our assumptions about wealth, poverty, and social responsibility. And while there's no consensus yet on whether it's the right solution for our socioeconomic challenges, it's certainly sparked a critical conversation. Whether you're for or against universal basic income, one thing is clear: This debate is an important part of discussions about our future socioeconomic landscape.